Когда шахидки хотели людям помочь, вот некоторым воду дать, одна шахидка хотела, и это их террористов главарь заметил и увел шахидку. И у них же, у шахидок вот тут бомбы были, и он эту бомбу, а у террориста главного пульт был, и он этот пульт нажал, и шахидка взорвалась. И мы вот от земли на полметра взлетели, вот.
They killed the women because the two women that joined them, apparently had second thoughts about killing children and what was going on, which is a good thing. I'm concerned, and I mean, with your background, I'm concerned that I'm just looking for parallels in our society and trying to put roadblocks. I'm concerned about our society in a way that our girls become too much like men and boys, and just I've seen too many girls in our society now not say to their boyfriend, "That's not cool." Mm-hmm. And if a woman doesn't say that to a guy, it doesn't matter. Guys will just be like, whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think they should both.
I do too. But mm-hmm. women have that nurture side mm-hmm. of them, and we're building a society that is easily derailed by someone with bad intent. Can you tell me why in those videos the kids are talking about horrible stuff and seem dead inside? Almost, I don't see any emotion in that.
Well, you're absolutely right, Glenn. I went and interviewed those kids. I was there a year after, and they're numb. They're psychologically numb. They have to deaden their emotions because it's too horrible. Most of them have brothers and sisters that died there, their friends. The entire village is just completely devastated. Parents live every day with, why did I send my kids to school?
Why? Let's go back now to Boston real quick. I'm hearing something. These guys were jihadists and they were Islamic extremists, but one of them was smoking pot all the time.
Right.
And I was driving in this morning and I looked at our society and I thought, okay, if I'm a jihadist, I hate it. I hate this society because I'm looking at women, I'm looking at these posters and these billboards and everything else. And it just cycles. What happened to him? Why is he a pothead and an Islamic jihadist?
Well, my view, Glenn, is after talking to 400 terrorists, studying all around the world in Palestinian territories and Europe with the Chechens and interviewing terrorists everywhere, there's always a group, there's always an ideology that convinces them that for your cause, it's appropriate to murder civilians. And then there's some level of social support. So if you're in Palestine, you have tons of social support. If you're here in America, you probably find very, very little, at least I hope.
I hope so too.
And then these groups and this ideology always preys upon the vulnerabilities inside individuals. So when we look at Tamerlan and Zokar, they came from Chechnya. Tamerlan, his kindergarten teacher, said that he was traumatized and had lived through the First War. She said he was a great student, great family, but that whenever there were firecrackers or things like that, he freaked out.
Bad.
And what we find now is we found a profile in Europe, and now we're hearing it here, a kid that looked like maybe he was drugging, alcohol for sure, decided to go to conservative Islam to try to clean himself up. And we see drug addicts all the time using religion to try to clean up, but then he took a step even further into an extremist mindset.
It's kind of like Louis Farrakhan in a way. I mean, Louis Farrakhan does the same thing. You know, you're on the edge of society, and he appeals to that and brings them out and then twists them against society.
Right. And what they do then is they twist them back to hate the society that corrupted you.
Right.
So you drank and drugged here in America.
Because of America.
Yeah, they did that to you. Instead of, maybe you came out of war and even like Vietnam veterans, maybe you're drinking because you're traumatized.
Right.
Not unusual, by the way, to find jihadists who have pornography on them or with them, this sort of dichotomy in their lives. You see this all the time, saw this overseas in the wars. These guys think that by doing what they do, it cures all their previous sins. So this is not abnormal at all. The idea that you're going to find these guys and they all have a long beard and look the same is not true at all.
Leon, tell me what you were going to tell us right before we went to the break.
To join to Buck's mentioning Iwan Zawahiri, who was at that time the second in command. In December of 1996, after Al-Qaeda was kicked out of Sudan, he scouted for a place to base Al-Qaeda, and the first place he came to check out was Chechnya. Fortunately or unfortunately, he was caught in Dagestan and spent 6 months in the prison there, in Makhachkala prison. Nobody knew who he was, and he was let go after spending 6 months there for visa violation. When we ran out Taliban in 2001 out of Afghanistan, in a safe Al-Qaeda house in the suburbs of Kabul, on the laptop, we found the following note by al-Zawahiri. Thank goodness that Allah blinded them to our real identities.
I want to go one last question here to Buck, but I want to say this before we run out of time. I am not saying that what happened in Boston was run by Chechnya or Chechen terrorists. They just happened to be from Chechnya. I'm not saying that the Saudis plotted it or anything else. I don't know yet. I am doing this show tonight because I think we need to get back into the mindset and show you what the Islamic jihadists that want a caliphate are willing to do for it. Last thought from you, Buck, on Saudi Arabia and connections on why people should, in the media, should care about the information that The Blaze is still exclusive on.
Well, people don't want to accept the reality, which is that this Saudi Arabian cancerous ideology of Wahhabism, of Salafism, Salafi jihadism, has spread all over the world. They are setting up mosques all over the world, places exactly like the one where Tamerlan Tsarnaev went. That was the gathering place. Did he radicalize there? It's almost certain he did to some level. Was there command and control over the actual attack? We don't know, but that's almost not that relevant at this point, because going there was a necessary precursor for him to be willing to engage in what he did. And understanding the ideology of the people in Chechnya who are jihadists is necessary to understand how you get a Tsarnaev, how you get these people doing these kinds of acts. And if you want to work against them, you have to first understand the problem. And that is where the problem comes from.
Guys, thank you very much.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it. We'll talk again. I'll leave you with this thought. We'll come back in a second, but any doubt in your mind this is the beginning of, I mean, the president came out today and said, hey, it looks like they might be using chemical weapons and everything else. This is the beginning of...
They face two civil wars. I've actually written a piece about this. They face two civil wars, the one against Assad and the one with those guys once Assad is gone.
And we are, unfortunately, I mean, there is no right side in that one, but the Muslim Brotherhood and Islamic jihadists, that's another piece to the map that Buck just showed you. And that's why you need to pay attention, because I am convinced that the media will not. Peter King said we're going to probably find some more domestic terrorists involved in this. Whether we do or not, I don't know, but you need to be informed. Back in a minute.